Cannon and Ball rock up with Alexander Armstrong at 5:40 as one of the pairs of pointless celebrities on BBC One. Right now, though, Jason Mohammad with Final Score.
Relegation. He was one of the heroes of the afternoon. Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wigan go through to the Premier. John Terry's tears we all remember. It was 2 crucial weeks.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Final Score this Saturday afternoon. It's been a busy one in the Premier League, the Football League and the SPL. Garth and Dion have already been shaken and stirred by this afternoon's action. So let's bring you right up to date with what's happening up and down the country. First to the Emirates. It's been a tough week for Arsenal. Jonathan Ledyard.
And it's still tough because Arsenal's labours are continuing 0-0 here against an obdurate Queen's Park Rangers team. Jack Wilshere on his first team return has done his youthful shimmying best. He's lit up the midfield. He's tested Rangers keeper Julio César, but he's been replaced in the last 5 minutes or so by Theo Walcott. A bit of pace, a bit of width, which Arsenal need, and yet still Queen's Park Rangers are defying them. That's offside as Cisse is sent through. And the ball is gathered by the Queen's Park Rangers, or the Arsenal goalkeeper, Vita Manoni. Queen's Park Rangers have challenged at the other end, but Arsenal had so much possession, and yet they cannot break through. They are still fragile. It's still 0-0, 16 minutes to go.
Wigan Athletic chasing their third successive home win over West Ham United. Will Perry is at the DW.
We've played 74 minutes. It's Wigan 2, West Ham 0. All very comfortable for Wigan. Sam Allardyce is in his dugout, puffing and chewing on his gum. West Ham desperately need a goal. They keep giving the ball away. They brought on Modibo Maiga at half-time, on for Yossi Benayoun. All he's done so far is get booked for a dive. He scored, of course, in last week's 4-1 win over Southampton. Andy Carroll had a good chance as well, but very, very comfortable for Wigan. Wigan 2, West Ham 0.
It's Reading's worst start to a top-flight campaign. Is it getting any better, Tony Husband?
Not at the moment. It's going to be a very nervous final 15 minutes for them, Jason. They just can't seem to hold on to a lead in the Premier League. This game level at 1-1, all about two tremendous strikes, really. Mikael Legertwood giving Reading the lead midway through the first half, a 20-yard pile driver. But the substitute, Brian Ruiz, responding in similar vein a short time ago. 2 great goals in an otherwise pretty average game.
Let's get the latest from the Britannia Stadium. Ivan Gaskell.
As we speak, as you join me, there's a chance for Sunderland and it goes begging, and that's really the story of a disappointing game, a game that won't live too long in the memory. Goalless and all but chanceless, but then with two sides for whom not winning has become a habit. What did we really expect? A sobering second half moment here. Mark Wilson stretchered off with a nasty looking injury to his left leg. Stoke looking to protect a 10 Premier League game unbeaten home record held since early February. The last side to win here, Sunderland. 15 to go, 0-0.
Told you. OK, we've got a goal at the Medeski Stadium. Tony Husband.
2 weeks running from a corner, 2 weeks running getting to the near post. Chris Baird has done it again for Fulham, who've come from behind now to lead at the Medeski Stadium by 2-1. In swinging corner from the near side from the substitute Ruiz, and once again it was Baird who got the header this time, flicking it into the far post, and now Reading staring down the barrel of another defeat. Baird won't enjoy the celebration much. He actually slipped and may have even injured himself, but Fulham lead 2-1.
There's lots happening in the Premier League. We'll come to you, Garth and Dion, in just a moment. Handball at the Britannia Stadium, Ivan?
Not to my eyes. The game continues. There's been 1 or 2 protests towards the referee, but as you were, 0-0.
OK, well, you saw that incident. Stephen Fletcher's shot. Looks like it touches the hand of the Stoke City defender.
I think you were bang on. I think it was Robert Huth, actually. I think the shot was on goal, and I think you're bang on, Jason. I think it hit his right arm. It was going goalwards as well.
Arsenal have missed a great chance, Jonathan Ledyard.
Oh, my word. What a shock miss. Absolutely horrible by Cazorla. Oh, there's a chance here for Gervinho. Maybe Arsenal score. No, they won't. The chance a few moments ago broke to Cazorla, almost on the penalty spot. The ball was just waiting there to be buried, a la Crooks, a la Dublin. Instead, it was way, way over the bar. Horrible. Sums up Arsenal, 0-0.
OK, let's bring you right up to date with the lunchtime kick-off. Big game for Paul. Yellow card. To the SPL, one moment you're in the new camp, next you're at Celtic Park and you're losing, Ian Turner.
Yes, indeed, and I don't think Celtic can blame a Barcelona hangover because 5 of the 10 outfield players were changed by Neil Lennon today, but Kilmarnock really have worked their socks off here. Killian Sheridan in the first half, and a penalty scorer confirmed as Liam Kelly has given Kilmarnock a 2-0 lead here, and Celtic have made a couple of changes, but really they're making no headway at all. This is a tremendous performance from Kilmarnock, and it could be a first for 57 years at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 2.
I tell you what, it's been very, very feisty at the Emirates. This was predictable. Jonathan Ledyard, a red card.
Yes, there was instant between Mbaya and Vermaelen. Mbaya felt that Vermaelen had pushed him, but while he was on the ground, he took a bit of a dive and then lashed out at Vermaelen. He only had to go, and yet again, Queen's Park Rangers are finishing a game with 10 men. If it's not Diakite, it's another player, and this is one thing Mark Hughes has got to get on top of, because they are bottom of the league, they've yet to win, and now they're down to 10 men for the final 10 minutes.
Well, you've been saying it all afternoon. If viewers have been watching us on the Red Button and the HD channel, it's been bubbling, hasn't it? And you said, Garth, didn't you, that somebody's going to get sent off?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's happened. I have to say that I'm not surprised because the disciplinary record, I think Jonathan Ledyard referred to it, has been shocking at QPR. Mark Hughes has got to get control of his players. They need points. They don't need men sent off the pitch. It's difficult enough trying to win a game with 11 men, much less 10. He had to go. He's lashed out. He's caught the player.
He's lashed out. Does he actually catch Vermaelen?
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Having seen it in quick time, I didn't think he did, but now I've seen it in slow-mo. He caught someone that catches on the right knee. It's ridiculous. And the thing about it, and Garth said that, you know, Mark Hughes got to get hold of his players. He has, but Mark Hughes can only use words to get his players on side. If they don't take on board what the manager's saying, you know, what can you do?
Pick players who can.
Yeah.
Pick players who are disciplined and cool under pressure.
OK, goal at the Den. Mark Webber.
Oh, and what a goal. Millwall 3, Huddersfield Town 0. James Henry blasting the ball with more power than you'd see come out of the local recycling centre next door. But a controversial one because as he was on the area, there was a Huddersfield player on the floor. All the Huddersfield players are calling for treatment to the player. That player is now up. But the fact of the matter is they were playing with a man down. Millwall have gone 3-0 up.
Leroy Lita has a habit of scoring big goals. Damian Johnson.
He scored an absolute stunner here to break the deadlock. It had been a game of very few chances between these two sides, but Lita with a firecracker from 25 yards. Lovely piece of work from Marlon King. Little dummy let the ball through his legs. Open space up for Lita and bang, 1-0.
There's been a goal at Ewood Park. Andy Barwell.
Not yet, Jason, but there is a penalty for Blackburn Rovers, and it's going to be Colin Kazim-Richards against Manuel Amunia. It hits the bar, and they can't follow in. And it's a huge let-off for Watford, but another example of how things are not going Blackburn Rovers' way. A great chance to snatch something from this game. It's 0-0, but Colin Kazim-Richards has spurned a wonderful opportunity. Blackburn 0, Watford 0.
Almost a goal. I can't give you a goal at Portman Road.
You can, and it's embarrassment for Ipswich now. It's Ipswich 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Mikael Antonio has just been set free on goal, and he's just rounded the keeper, Henderson, and popped it into the net. And that's after a round of olays from the Sheffield Wednesday fans who are here in force today, and 2 wonderful goals from Ross Barkley, who's been a real star, the man on loan from Everton. He is a real diamond, although I'm not sure how long Wednesday will have him. He'll probably be playing in Merseyside derby soon. But Wednesday are 3 up, and Ipswich desperately need that new manager. Another chance for Wednesday here. Can they score just over the bar? It's Ipswich 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3.
Robin, thank you. Ipswich Town in real trouble. Seth Bennett at Oakwell.
Barnsley 1, Nottingham Forest 4. The 4th goal coming from Jermaine Genus, who came on as a substitute for Forest. He was put through. Lovely ball from Simon Cox. And Genus was cool, calm and collected as he slotted it into the back of the net from 12 yards. Forest leading here at Barnsley by 4-1.
There's a big incident at London Road, Andrew James.
Well, there's been a few. There's the scoreline, let me tell you at the moment, Jason, still Peterborough 1, Derby County 0. Peterborough going in front in the first half against the run of play from Michael Boswick. Theo Robinson then hit the post in the first minute of the second half when Derby should really have equalised. Post then missed a penalty through Lee Tomlin. Legs didn't save well. And then Derby had Jake Buxton sent off for his second yellow. It's 1-0.
Mark Hughes must be absolutely furious, Jonathan Ledyard.
It's 1-0 Arsenal. Mikel Arteta eventually got the ball past Julio Cesar, who has been quite outstanding in the Queen's Park Rangers defence. But, of course, that Queen's Park Rangers defence is lacking one of its linchpins. Stefan Mbayo was sent off for lashing out at Jan Vermaelen, and now, or rather Thomas Vermaelen. And so with 7 minutes to go, Rangers' hard work looks as if it's unravelling fast. 1-0 Arsenal.
Julio Cesar makes 2 unbelievable saves.
But it accounts for nothing. Why? Because their centre-half, the tallest man in their defence, the dominant figure, has just got sent off for a ridiculous action. And yet again, Mark Hughes finds himself with no points today, all because of their indiscipline.
OK, there's another goal going in at the Medeski Stadium. It's all happening, Tony Husband.
Well, it's 2-2 and Reading have got themselves back into this one with just over 5 minutes left in the game. It was a bit scrappy, doesn't really matter. The move had started from the left-hand side. Robson Kanu got the ball into the box. Roberts miscontrolled. Behind him was McCleary. 7 yards out, side-footed it into the net. And Reading 2-2 now.
Reading desperate for a win. Right, there's a goal at Cardiff City Stadium. Hamish Marshall.
And it's gone to Cardiff. They now lead Burnley by 3-0. Matthew Connolly has got the third. An unmarked header at the far post following a corner. So Cardiff deservedly leading, adding to those first half goals from Joe Mason and Craig Noon. Noon has been outstanding. He's hit the bar as well. The third time the Woodworks denied the Bluebirds. But they're on course for the points and heading for the top of the table. 9 minutes to go.
So, are they heading to the top of the table, Mark Bishop?
Looks as if they are. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 2. A shock scoreline at the moment. Even the appearance of the Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleaders at half-time doing little to lift the gloom amongst another big home crowd here at the Empower Stadium. Palace have done the damage. Goals from Damien Delaney, another from Peter Ramage, a bullet header, his first for the club. Palace high and dry, but Leicester have appealed twice for a penalty. Knockhart went to ground after a challenge from Joel Ward, and then David Nugent's header appeared to be handled on the line by Jonathan Parr. Referee Andy Haynes totally unmoved. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Let's take you to the Riverside. Steve Sutton.
It's Middlesbrough 2, Bolton 1. Scott MacDonald with his second across from the right, and a beautifully guided header into the bottom corner. 2-1 Middlesbrough.
OK, Tranmere have got an equaliser against Preston. The League One leaders, Tranmere Rovers 1, Preston North End 1. Jake Cassidy with a goal on 85 minutes. Let's go back to Arsenal QPR. And fair play, Queen's Park Rangers have played very, very well today, Dion.
Yeah, you can only play that way for so long because, you know, the team of Arsenal's quality individual players will find a way through that, you know, and you can only sit back and put players behind the ball. As Crooksy said there, Mark Hughes, again, being let down by certain individuals by getting booked and getting sent off, puts him under immense pressure, playing against a side like Arsenal, you know, at the Emirates.
But Garth is right. You know, you've done all the hard work. You're heading for a point, a fantastic point at the Emirates, and then a moment of stupidity cost you the game.
Another sensational save from Julio Cesar. He's played an absolute blinder. I feel desperately sorry for him. He's been outstanding. But to be fair to Arsenal, I mean, they've worked and worked and worked because for the first, for the first hour of the game, they were lacking in confidence. Cazorla, Giroud, Arteta, I mean, Podolski, they were all class acts, but they were lacking in confidence. They weren't showing the ability that they've got. But slowly they've worked themselves back in, and they've worked very, very hard to get a goal. I can't believe it. Another goal.
Oh, Berbatov.
Let's go to Tony Husband. It's a goal for Fulham.
Great finish, but you can't stand off a player like Berbatov and give him the room that the Reading defence just did. It was actually set up by the former Reading player, Sidwell. Side-footed into the box. Berbatov had time. He picked his spot. Right-footed into the corner. A great goal, and Fulham lead 3-2. 2 minutes left now.
What a game at the Medeski. What a game at the Cardiff City Stadium, Hamish Marshall.
It's a game for goals, and Cardiff could goal 4 of them. They lead Burnley 4-0 now. All too easy for the Bluebirds. The fourth goal has come from 2 substitutes. The header down by Rudy Gested and Aaron Gunnison tucking in from about 8 yards out. Cardiff on easy streak. They lead 4-0.
It's a lovely finish from Dimitar Berbatov.
It is. He finds himself sort of level with the penalty spot, just out on the left-hand side as he goes forward. Sidwell just rolls it into him as if to say, "Just do what you do. Go on, do what you do." And he receives it, and all he does, receives on the left,
shifts it to the right,
drops his shoulder to the left, shifts it to the right. He can't see the goal. He can't see the goal. He knows he can hit the far post just by bending into a corner with power. Fantastic finish from Berbatov. Again,
Berbatov at his best.
Yeah.
Garth, one of the other stories of the day, Wigan Athletic leading West Ham United 2-0. Before we came into studio, we fancied West Ham to get something at the DW, win that game.
On condition that, you know, the Wigan that we know can play turns up. They have today. Kone, outstanding.
Martinez, looking at him on the touchline, he's purring at the way his side's playing today. OK, there's a goal at London Road. Andrew James.
It's a second goal for Peterborough. They've surely won the match now, and it's Acedo Berrinho who scored the goal. It was a dreadful mistake by Adam Legstins, put it into his own net effectively, but he's made some fantastic saves prior to that, to be fair to the Rams keeper. Peterborough lead 2-0, and they're on now for their 4th win in 6.
Back into the Championship. How is Simon Grayson's 250th game in charge going, Mark Webber?
He won't want a birthday card or an anniversary card for this one, Jason. Millwall 4, Huddersfield Town 0. He's just seen his player Jack Hunt sent off, red, foul and abusive language. Now he's just seen another goal in to make it 4. Liam Trotter, edge of the area, absolutely well taken. Millwall 4, Huddersfield Town 0.
Let's go back to... You can hear the ohs. Let's go. We've got a goal. We were going to go to Jonathan Ledyard, but there's a goal at the Medeski.
Well, after an almighty scramble, Reading have made it 3-3 inside the last 10 seconds of normal time. It came from a free kick, floated in from the left-hand side. A real scramble in the 6-yard box. Finally, it was bundled in past a Fulham line of players on the goal line. And we are into 4 minutes of stoppage time now. It's 3-3.
What a game at the Medeski. Of course, you can see that on Match of the Day tonight. It's Hal Robson-Kanu, I think, who gets the final touch. Jonathan Ledyard, QPR with a great chance.
Yes, but only because that man Cesar kept them in it. Cazorla trying to curl one round to the left of him. Brilliant save by the Brazilian. That's 8 saves of absolute top draw quality. Down at the other end, Granero. If only he'd had a little bit more accuracy, it might have been 1-1. As it is, there's a chance enough for Archibin. Blasts it wide. Arsenal are leading still 1-0. But remember, Queen's Park Rangers are down to 10 men.
Fulham keeper Mark Schwarzer, Dion, is standing there thinking, how did this happen? His back four have completely let him down defending that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a keeper of that quality can only do so much. You need some help from your back four in front of you. It's not happened today, and he's had a bit of a nightmare. And he'll be so frustrated, so frustrated.
I mean, if you're Reading, you score 3 goals at home. You can't win the game. It's outrageous.
OK, Kilmarnock on the verge of an historic win, Ian Turner.
Yeah, I do believe they're going to do it, and so do most of the Celtic fans, because the stadium is now half empty, and you don't often say that at Celtic Park with 4 minutes to go. And it's not even a case of Kilmarnock hanging on. Celtic are throwing everything at them, but Kilmarnock are looking comfortable. Just a shot there coming in from Tony Watt, but it's well saved by the Kilmarnock keeper. It's just been one of those days for Celtic, but take nothing away from Kilmarnock. They've been tremendous, and they lead 2-0.
Oh, Mackie. Oh.
We're going to go back to Jonathan Ledyard. It's all happening at the Emirates, Jonathan.
What a fantastic run by Mackie. He came on as a substitute. Just brilliant run into the penalty area. Beat one man, beat 2 men. Vanoni stood up, blasted it at him, and it just rebounded for a throw-in. Still 1-0, and we've still got 3 minutes of stoppage time to play. Brilliant.
It's unfortunate. It's a great run, but does it not highlight Arsenal's problem, perhaps? That they can't defend.
It's really difficult, Jason, when you've got a guy in full flight. If you touch him either way, he's going to go over. So if you are going to touch him or give him a nudge and you know he's going to go down, you've got to do it early in his run so he's nowhere near your goal. He gets to the box very, very quickly, and you think if you touch him, it's going to be a penalty. So in that respect, it was decent defending.
A free kick has just gone into the box. Tony Husband.
Yes, 2.5 minutes into stoppage time. The ball's back in the box here. Kanu again, saved at the near post, and then into the side netting, and Reading have a corner. They're pushing for a winner. 3-3, remember, with about 1 minute and 20 seconds still to play. But it's very tight, and Fulham now find themselves in the position of hanging on a bit here.
And there's a free kick on the edge of the box at the Emirates.
It is to Queen's Park Rangers. Granero to take this. We're into the dying moments. Tries a shot, and it's here. Just past. I thought that was in. Oh, it's just got into the side netting, but Benoni did actually get a touch. Pushed it round. Queen's Park Rangers fans thought that was in. So the ball is now at the far side. It's a corner to Queen's Park Rangers, and Arsenal under real pressure. The ball is swung in once more. It's still 1-0.
And we're going to go back to Tony Husband because Jason Roberts and Hal Robson-Kanu almost scored again.
Oh, inches away from a fourth. Brian McDermott jumping up and down on the sidelines. Robson-Kanu's made a real impact as a substitute. It was his header from the corner, and it took a little deflection off Roberts, just the wrong side of the post from Reading's point of view. Rapidly running out of time now. Still 3-3.
I'll tell you something, they've got some spirit, that Reading side, haven't they, Garth?
Oh, it's a goal.
There's a goal. A goal at Wigan. There's a goal at Wigan. Let's go to Will Perry. West Ham have scored.
Just as I look down, West Ham have scored. Carlton Cole's picked the ball up and taking it back to the centre spot. We've played 90 minutes. We're into added time. They have one back. I think it was Carlton Cole. You guys will have to look on the screen. But it'll be an absolute consolation. Wigan have been comfortable. The Wigan fans around me smiling. They think they've had the points in the bag for a long time. It'll be an interesting finish, though. Now West Ham, they've got one back. Wigan 2, West Ham 1.
I was telling you about the spirit that Reading have got.
Yes, but I think it's Tompkins who gets that goal for West Ham.
It is Tompkins.
It is Tompkins.
Yeah.
But the game at Reading has just been unbelievable. But if you're a Reading fan, you must feel very disheartened for your future in the Premiership. If you're going to have to score 4 goals to get 3 points, how often is that going to happen?
And also, they're taking the lead. I was at the Liberty Stadium a few weeks ago where they were 2-0 up.
Correct.
Cruising. And then they threw it away.
Closing out games is their problem. That's what Brian McDermott's got to work on.
OK, let's go to Tony Husband at the Medeski Stadium. What a game, Tony.
Well, it's all over. We've had 6 goals, but Reading, as you say, still without a win in the top flight and still getting very used to losing advantages. They led in this one, a real topsy-turvy one, but remember, right back at half-time, it was Mikael Legerwood's strike which was the difference between the two sides. An excellent 20-yarder. That was matched, though, in quality by Brian Ruiz's effort for Fulham on as a substitute, and he levelled in the second half before Chris Baird popped up from a corner to head Fulham into the lead. Gareth McCleary would then level side-footed for Reading, and at that point you thought, well, at least they'd eke out a point. 2 minutes later, the brilliant quality of Dimitar Berbatov on show again, set up by Steve Sidwell from left foot to right, just a movement of the shoulders and a fine finish into the far corner of the net, with Fulham sensing perhaps this would be their best ever start to a top flight season if they could get all 3 points today. Reading popped up again, a scramble goal eventually credited to Hal Robson-Kanu has earned them a share of the points. They still wait for that first win. Fulham will be more comfortable with a point than Reading will be. It was a real thriller in the end. 24,000 saw it. It finished 3-3.
Well, it's been a very difficult week for Arsene Wenger. 14 points from 8 games is their best top-flight start since 1999-2000 season. What happened today, Will Perry?
Well, it's finished Wigan 2, West Ham 1. It was never really in doubt for Wigan, who were ahead after 8 minutes through an Ivan Ramis thunderous volley from a corner. The pass and move football worked for Roberto Martinez this afternoon. Just a minute and a half into the second 45, Wigan had their second. Sloppy defending from West Ham. The ball fell to James MacArthur on the edge of the box. He drilled his shot right down the middle past Jussi Jääskeläinen. Andy Carroll had such little service today. He looked really frustrated figure up front for West Ham, who came into this, as you mentioned, with their best top flight start for 13 years back in 1999 under Harry Redknapp. Wigan absolutely deserved the win, there's no doubt about that. Aruna Kone ran his socks off. West Ham just couldn't get hold of the ball, and when they very rarely did, it was given away. James Tompkins had a late effort, deflected onto the bar, then minutes later, I've managed to see it now, ball came across the box from the left-hand side. He headed in a consolation with seconds left. Wigan 2, West Ham 1.
Let's take you into the Championship. Andy King scored on Tuesday night. He's done it again, Mark Bishop, but too little too late.
I agree with you, Jason. Leicester City 1, Crystal Palace 2. We have one fat stoppage time minute left. 23,000 Leicester fans still believing, but it's been a woeful performance by Nigel Pearson's side. Crystal Palace in total control. Damien Delaney early on with that goal after Schmeichel spilled that cross from Garvin, and Yannick Bolassi's cross headed home by Peter Ramage. 2-0 to Palace. We've had a late goal from Andy King, just in an incomplete rush of blood from Kasper Schmeichel. What was he doing? Came out of the D, lost the ball, goal, Zaha's shot, and Konchesky off the line. Leicester City 1, Crystal Palace 2.
Well, Andy King scores plenty of goals. So too does Jordan Rhodes. He's got a late winner, Andy Barwell.
Yes, it has. It looks to be that way anyway. 5 minutes of stoppage time at Ewood Park, and Blackburn looked to have snatched this in added time. It was Rashina's shot. It rebounded and it fell to Jordan Rhodes' feet. It took an absolute age, almost slow motion. The £8 million striker, though, blasted it home left-footed, gave Manuel Almunia no chance at all. Maybe that Colin Kazim Richards penalty miss won't be so expensive after all. It's Blackburn 1, Watford 0.
Gianfranco Zola's Watford lost to a last-minute goal on Tuesday night. They've lost again today. But what a story at Celtic Park, Ian Turner.
Yes, for only the 4th time in 50 SPL attempts, and for the first time at Celtic Park since 1955, Kilmarnock have beaten Celtic. And the champions can't blame a Barcelona hangover, because Kilmarnock were tremendous, worked extremely hard and got the reward with Killian Sheridan's first half goal and Liam Kelly's well-struck penalty. Real belief from Kenny Shields' side. One definitely to forget for Celtic. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 2.
And it's finished at Stoke. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, these two have now managed just 2 wins in 30 games combined. We had 8 long minutes of added time, entirely forgettable for the other 92. A point apiece, move on. Neither side good enough to win it. Huth with a close-range second-half header that was blocked by Mignolet on the line. The closest either side came, though Fletcher might feel aggrieved that a shot that at least looked on target appeared to strike Huth's arm. Wilson stretchered off with a worrying-looking injury. But really the most interesting and memorable moment, the half-time conversation between the very Scottish David Moyes, the very Italian Giovanni Trapattoni. I'm not sure either understood a word that was said. This game lost in translation too, rather, a goalless draw.
Let's go back to the Championship. Hamish Marshall, Cardiff City are top of the Championship.
Indeed they are, because they've beaten Burnley by 4-0, and it was fully deserved. The inspirational Craig Noon set up the first for Joe Mason and then scored the second. Then 2 quick late goals from Matthew Connolly and Aaron Gunnison put some gloss on the scoreline. They're also the first side in 9 games to deny Charlie Austin a goal. The question now is that after so many near misses, is this finally Cardiff's season to get that place in the Premier League?
Well, they've swapped places with Leicester City. Mark Bishop, what happened there today?
Absolutely incredible, Jason. 23,646, 21,000 Leicester City fans. Absolutely can't believe. Woeful performance under Nigel Pearson's side. Crystal Palace totally dominating the game. Garvin's cross, Kasper Schmeichel spilling that cross, and Damien Delaney heading the ball into the back of the net. That set the pace of the game. Yannick Bolassi's cross then followed. Peter Ramage with a bullet header made it 2-0, and Palace were just passing the ball around at ease. Leicester City weren't at the races today. They got a very late goal from Andy King, a header top left-hand corner, but it could have been a lot more. Zaha, how impressive is he? No wonder so many scouts are here today around me near the press box. He teased and tantalised Leicester City today, and right at the end a shot which Konchesky cleared off the line. Leicester can count themselves a little unlucky. It looked like a Stonewall penalty. Nugent's header goal-bound. Joel Ward with a big hand at the far post. Nothing doing, said referee Andy Haynes. But it's Palace's first win at the Empower Stadium since it was built in 2002. Leicester City 1, Crystal Palace 2.
Darren Ferguson's Peterborough United had lost 9 times this season. Not today, Andrew James.
That's right. They've now won 4 of the last 6. 3-0 here, and 2 late goals from Sado Bellarino really made the difference. Boswick had given Posh a first half lead. Robinson should have equalised straight after the break. Peterborough then missed a penalty. Lee Tomlin on his 100th appearance. And when Jake Buxton was sent off for 2 yellows, it was all going wrong for Derby. Then those 2 late goals from Bellarino. Second win in a week. Second 3-goal tally in a week. And Peterborough are back in business. Peterborough United 3, Derby County 0.
If Mick McCarthy does take over at Portman Road, he has a massive job, Robin Bailey.
He certainly does. A first win in 10 league games for Sheffield Wednesday, and huge relief for their under-pressure manager, Dave Jones. But Ipswich were awful. There's a real urgency for that managerial vacancy to be filled, and quickly. Ipswich were toothless, lacking in any confidence, full of mistakes, and they're bottom. 12 games in all competitions without a win. Wednesday fans were ahead on 46 seconds. A fine strike from Ross Barkley, the 18-year-old on loan from Everton, who also scored a fine second before the hour to put the Owls in charge. Barkley, a star in the making. Mikel Antonio sealing the humiliation for Town, although many of their fans have left by then, and that was fueled by Wednesday supporters giving them the olays.
Great win for Dave Jones of Sheffield Wednesday. If you want your say on the day's action, tune in to BBC Radio 5 Live tonight for 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Darren Fletcher at 6 minutes past 6. Don't forget, we're here, Final Score, every Saturday from 2:30 via the BBC Sport website, the Red Button, the BBC HD channel. Next week includes the closing stages of Manchester United v Arsenal, plus Chelsea, Everton and Tottenham. They're all playing at 3 o'clock. So here they are, your full classified results with Neil Turner.
Barclays Premier League, Arsenal 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Aston Villa 1, Norwich City 1. The game between Manchester City and Swansea City, a 5:30 kickoff. Reading 3, Fulham 3. Stoke City 0, Sunderland 0. Wigan Athletic 2, West Ham United 1. The N-Power Championship, Barnsley 1, Nottingham Forest 4. Blackburn Rovers 1, Watford 0. Blackpool 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. The Bristol City-Hull City game, an evening kick-off at 5:20. Cardiff City 4, Burnley 0. Ipswich Town 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Leeds United 0, Birmingham City 1. Leicester City 1, Crystal Palace 2. Middlesbrough 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. Millwall 4, Huddersfield Town 0. Peterborough United 3, Derby County 0. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Charlton Athletic 1. The N-Power League 1, Brentford 2, Hartlepool United 2. Bury 1, Walsall 1. Carlisle United 2, AFC Bournemouth 4. Crawley Town 1, Oldham Athletic 1. Crewe Alexander 0, Yeovil Town 1. Leyton Orient 0, Coventry City 1. Notts County 0, Doncaster Rovers 2. Scunthorpe United 0, Milton Keynes Dons 3. Shrewsbury Town 2, Colchester United 2. Stevenage 0, Swindon Town 4. Tranmere Rovers 1, Preston North End 1. The N-Power League 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Bristol Rovers 0. AFC Wimbledon 0, Gillingham 1. Burton Albion 1, Bradford City 0. Cheltenham Town 3, Exeter City 0. Chesterfield 0, Barnet 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Aldershot Town 0. Northampton Town 2, Port Vale 0. Rochdale 0, Fleetwood Town 0. Rotherham United 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Southend United 0, York City 0. Torquay United 1, Morecambe 0. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Oxford United 3. The Blue Square Bet Premier, Alfreton Town 1, AFC Telford United 1. The game between Braintree and Wrexham was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Cambridge United 0, Hyde 1. Forest Green Rovers 1, Luton Town 2. Grimsby Town 0, Macclesfield Town 1. Kidderminster Harriers 1, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City 3, Stockport County 3. Newport County 2, Woking 3. Nuneaton Town 1, Barrow 1. Southport 2, Hereford United 2. Tamworth 0, Ebbsfleet United 1. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, Dundee 0. Celtic 0, Kilmarnock 2. Heart of Midlothian 2, Rots County 2. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, St Johnstone 1. St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 1, Dumbarton 3, Erdrey United 4. A latest score, Dunfermline 1, Cowdenbeath 0. Falkirk 0, Partick Thistle 0. Hamilton Academical 0, Wraith Rovers 1. Livingston 2, Greenock Morton 2. Irn-Bru Scottish Division 2, Alloa Athletic 5, Albion Rovers 1. United 2, Arbroath 0. Brechin City 7, Stenhouse Muir 2. Stranraer 4, Farfar Athletic 1. Ernbrew Scottish Division 3, Annan Athletic 5, East Stirlingshire 2. Montrose 2, Elgin City 2. Peterhead 2, Stirling Albion 2. Queen's Park 1, Berwick Rangers 1. The Corbett Sports Welsh Premier League, Aberystwyth Town 1, Carmarthen Town 0. Afan Lido 2, Prestatyn Town 4. A latest score, Llanelli 0, Port Talbot Town 0. Newtown 1, Ballatown 1. The Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Ballymena United 1, Ballin Amalard 1. Crusaders 1, Coleraine 1. Donegal Celtic 2, Glentoran 1. Dungannon Swifts 1, Lisburn Distillery 1. Glenarvan 0, Cliftonville 2. And finally Linfield 1, Portadown 0.
So this is how the Barclays Premier League looks tonight. Leaders Chelsea face Manchester United at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. So a point for City in today's late kick-off, with Swansea City will send them second for 24 hours at least. Arsenal are the day's big movers, up from 9th to 4th with a win over Queen's Park Rangers. But Everton, Tottenham Hotspur and West Bromwich Albion could all go back above them on Sunday. QPR's defeat leaves them at the foot of the table. Reading move up one place after that dramatic draw with Fulham. Southampton will look to make some progress against Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. The N-Power Championship looks like this. Cardiff City are the new leaders following a 9th league win of the season. Previous leaders Leicester City lost at home to Crystal Palace to slip to second. Middlesbrough won to move level on points with the Foxes, whilst the managerless Eagles are just 1 point behind. At the bottom, Ipswich Town's poor form continues despite parting company with Paul Jewell in midweek. They lost at home to fellow strugglers Sheffield Wednesday. They're now 4 points adrift at the foot of the table. Wednesday stay in the relegation zone despite that win. Peterborough United also enjoyed an emphatic win today to climb out of the bottom three on goal difference. Bristol City are in the evening kick-off against Hull City. Top of League One looks like this. Tranmere Rovers stay top after drawing with Preston. Crawley's draw with Oldham is enough to move them into second, ahead of Stevenage, who suffered a heavy defeat by Swindon Town. Doncaster's victory at Notts County sees them leapfrog the Magpies into fifth. Coventry's win at Leyton Orient, not enough to lift them out of the bottom four. Hartlepool United stay bottom, despite drawing with Brentford. Bury, 5 points adrift of safety after a draw with Walsall. Top of League Two, Gillingham won to open up a 5-point advantage at the Summit. That's because Port Vale lost at lowly Northampton Town. Cheltenham leapfrog Fleetwood into the final automatic place after they won. Mickey Mellon's men could only manage a draw. Barnet won to close within 2 points of safety. Aldershot Town drew to move level on points with Wycombe Wanderers, who lost at home. The Blue Square Bet Premier looks like this. Newport County surprisingly beaten at home by Woking. Their lead at the top is down to 1 point. Luton Town won at fellow high flyers Forest Green Rovers to move up to second. Wrexham's match at Braintree was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Nuneaton slumped to the foot of the table after both Hyde and Ebbsfleet enjoyed rare wins. Kidderminster Harriers drew and complete the relegation zone. And in the SPL, Celtic are still top despite losing to Kilmarnock. Aberdeen's victory over bottom-placed Dundee moves them up 1 place to third. St Mirren drop from 9th to 11th after defeat by Dundee United. Well, the top story today is all to do at the Emirates Stadium, and Mark Hughes must be wondering what he has to do to get a Premier League win. Let's talk to John Motson. John, I bet you enjoyed that. It was pretty feisty, but do you think, John, that Mark Hughes can have any complaints with that sending off?
Well, not about the sending off, but he certainly got a complaint against Stefan Mabaya for what he did, Jason. I mean, he'd already got the free kick for a foul by Vermaelen, and he literally turned around and kicked him. Now, if you're going to do that 10 minutes from the end and lose your team one of their centre-backs, well, you're not going to be very popular, are you? Arsenal bounced off that, and by the way, this wasn't the final sort of solution for Arsenal today by any means. They'd struggled to prise QPR apart, but within a minute of that sending off, they'd smuggled Arshavin on as a substitute. He crossed, and Arteta, who might just have been offside, we'll have a look at that on Match of the Day tonight, Arteta scrambled the ball over the line at the second attempt, and that proved to be the winning goal. And obviously it's made that league table that you've just shown far more appealing to Arsenal supporters. But as I said, the plus for them today, apart from the 3 points, was Jack Wilshere playing for over an hour and coming through, as far as we could see, completely unscathed and bringing a bit of creativity to an Arsenal attack that still was far from its best. But QPR, one last thing I must say, is that even when QPR were 1 down and down to 10 men, they brought on Jamie Mackie, and he very nearly scored the goal of the season. He beat 4 Arsenal players and brought a save out of Manoni. But looking at that league table again, it's pretty bad news for QPR.
Yes, absolutely, John. There is a worry, I suppose, though, that Arsenal will place too much expectation on Jack Wilshere. He's been out for a long time, John.
Yes, he has. That's true. So has Bakary Sagna, who came in at right back again today and acquitted himself relatively well. My own feeling about Arsenal, and there's lots of theories, is that they're short of width, because Walcott came on today very late as a substitute, made a bit of difference. Oxlade-Chamberlain is still injured, and at the moment Arsenal are trying to put the ball through the eye of a needle. Not that, you know, sometimes they've been accused of that anyway in the past. Cazorla missed a very good chance, by the way, before the goal. But I think Arsenal will just look back on this one and be thankful to get the 3 points. And QPR will look back on it and think, could they have held out had Mabaya not had a complete red mist moment?
John, thank you very much. Always great to talk to you. Well, you were impressed with the way Mark Hughes set up his team today. They were very well organised. And I suppose it just goes to show how difficult a situation Arsenal are in, as John says, where they have to be thankful that they've beaten Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, it's a poor situation for a club of Arsenal's size and the quality players. I've just ticked off a few players: Cazorla, Ramsey, Podolski, Arteta, Wilshere, all world-class, very, very good footballers. And they're happy to beat QPR at home, who are having a bit of a nightmare. Yes, Mark Hughes did set up his side correctly, but you can only set up in that way for so long, because you'll switch off mentally. And it's all about concentration when you're down at the bottom of the table. Concentrate for 90, 95 minutes. They just switched off. They get a man sent off mindlessly. Mark Hughes will be going, I know for a fact Mark Hughes will go absolutely crazy at him for the way he got sent off. And then you have your team conceding another goal.
Garth, what are Arsenal's big issues for you? The last time they won a trophy was 2005. And here we are, where John is saying they're grateful to beat Queen's Park Rangers in the Premier League.
Any other manager other than Arsene Wenger at Arsenal would have had the sack. It's to his credit that he's thought so highly of it at Arsenal that he can continue to rebuild. But the rebuild for me is too slow, and it's too slow for a lot of Arsenal fans. He's got quality players. What I think I can say in Arsenal's credit today was they started very low in confidence, but they worked their way back into it and got the points that really I'm not sure they deserved.
OK, thank you. If you want to see all the action from that game at the Emirates, then tune in to Match of the Day tonight with Gary, Alan Hansen and Mark Lawrenson. 10:25, don't miss it. BBC One and BBC One HD. It's a bumper day for Colin Murray and the Match of the Day 2 team tomorrow. Action from Chelsea v Manchester United and, of course, the Merseyside derby. Don't miss that one. 10:25 Sunday night. And after Colin rounds up all the football, Mark Chapman is at Wembley. He'll bring you the best of the evening's American football action at the New England Patriots taking on the St. Louis Rams. Let's hear then from the Wigan Athletic manager, Roberto Martinez.
Roberto, all smiles. What a start, 8 minutes in, and what a goal from Ivan Ramis.
He was great connection. We don't get too many goals from set plays, but obviously that was a real quality strike from Ivan. He's getting a little bit of a knack of scoring against West Ham. The 2 goals that he scored, one in the League Cup and today, both been against West Ham. And it was a tremendous finish. And I thought we started really, really bright. And that goal, in a way, he settles a little bit the game and allowed us to control it. And I thought the players deserved that victory, and we had to be at our best, as you always have to against West Ham, that they really test you. You need to have real good concentration, and I was very, very pleased, and I really enjoyed the performance of our players today.
So a very happy Roberto Martinez. Let's talk to Conor McNamara, who was there for Match of the Day. Conor, were you impressed with the way Wigan Athletic passed the ball today?
Yeah, I mean, fantastic game, generally very entertaining for Wigan's first home win of the season. They did get off to a very good start. A goal very much worth looking out for a Match of the Day later on tonight. Ivan Ramis, the Spanish defender, left-footed volleys direct from a corner. The kind of technique I guess we'd normally be praising a player like Paul Scholes for. But once they've taken the lead inside the first 10 minutes, a goal like that, I think Wigan were able to calm down. Their passing was very slick today. They got into those neat triangular sort of situations, and that very much frustrated West Ham, who were all blood and thunder. They wanted to get stuck in. The trouble was they couldn't get the ball. When West Ham did get the ball, they lumped it long towards Andy Carroll. I thought he played very well in the first half, won so many flick-ons, but there was no West Ham player to get in on the end of it. Coming out straight after the break for the second half, it's 2-0. James MacArthur got his first goal of the season, and from then on you just saw West Ham would be struggling. They did hit the crossbar towards the end, James Tompkins, and then Tompkins himself did put in a header, which was frankly just a consolation in injury time. But Sam Allardyce very disappointed with the performance. He said that they weren't up to it all over the pitch.
Conor, thank you very much indeed. Before the game, Garth, you said, well, look, I'm looking forward to this game, but quite frankly, I don't know which Wigan Athletic is going to turn up. And in fairness, we saw the Wigan Athletic side that we like to see, passing the ball and defending well.
Yes, and attacking with great creativity. Kone, I thought, was very, very good. It was a good, bright performance, and they took advantage of a West Ham team who we've seen start slowly away from home before. I think at West Ham, at Swansea, they started very slowly and paid the price. But Wigan today were impressive.
Interesting that Conor there says that Sam Allardyce has said post-match that they weren't up for it today.
Yeah.
You expect Sam's teams to always be up for it.
Yeah, you do, and they probably went out up for it, but found the Wigan team that Garth said actually turned up today and thought, well, hold it, we weren't expecting this. And you had your people like your Andy Carrolls and your Ben Ayooms, Diarmis, Noble, Nolan, didn't really step up to the plate today. Wigan actually said, we'll take this game by the scruff of the neck. And I think the player for me, for Wigan, is Sean Maloney. I think he's making things happen. He's making runs and he's breaking defences lines and he's putting people in and getting goals. I think Sean Maloney's a massive player for them.
I'll tell you what, you know, when we talk about managers, you have to give Martin Jol huge praise for what he's doing at Fulham. It was a great game at the Medeski. Perhaps they should have won it.
Yeah, I think he inherited an ageing side and he's revamped it, hasn't he? He's really moved it on, and Fulham will be fine this year under this manager.
OK, don't forget all the goals from the Football League tonight at 11:45 after Match of the Day. And a reminder, you can hear commentary on the top two. This is going to be huge tomorrow in the Premier League. Going head-to-head tomorrow afternoon, it's Chelsea versus Manchester United. 5 Live, 4 o'clock, all the build-up from 3. Well, that's it from us here on BBC One. Thank you very much indeed to Garth and Dion for the moment. You can get more reaction to this afternoon's football on the red button until 6. Do join us. We'll be back next week. Bye for now.